What's up, guys? This is Justin for the 330 Sports Show. We are a Youngstown studio production. Today is Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. A very happy 119th birthday to the great state of Ohio. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Derek McDowell. This is going to be our sports update. We're going to get into a lot of things, especially NCAA basketball and high school basketball and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we're going to get into that right now. So the calendar has changed. It's March 1st. Everything gets a little bit better because it's not February anymore. If you ask me, February is the worst month of the year, but it's a new calendar. It's a fresh slate. It's a new start. Make sure to get ready and get going because March Madness is here. Let's start with the Youngstown State men's basketball team. They're led by head coach Jared Calhoun. The regular season record of 18-13, 12-9 in conference play. They will begin their Horizon tournament play tonight, 7 o'clock versus Robert Morris at the Beagley Center. You can watch that on ESPN+. You can also listen on WKBN 570 or just get down to the Beagley Center. They need your support. Coach Calhoun, his guys, they've had a nice season, some ups and downs throughout the year, but maybe they're primed to make a run as the 7th seed in the Horizon Conference. They're going to take on the 10 seed Robert Morris. So get down there for what will be the last home game of this regular season. Now let's go to the Lady Penguins. Very congratulations goes out to the Youngstown Lady Penguins. 23-5 on the 2022 season, 17-4 in conference play. They open up tournament play. They do have a bye, but they will play Thursday, 7 p.m. at home. Their opponent will be to be announced as the brackets unfold. But a special congratulations to head coach, which is John Barnes, Coach of the Year in the Horizon League Conference. Just did an amazing job with these young athletes, and they've had a really, really great season. A special congratulations goes out to Lily Ritz. She is first team All Horizon League Conference, and she also made the defensive All Conference team. A second team member of the Horizon League Conference goes to Chelsea Olson. Another fantastic year for Chelsea. Great player, both on the offensive and defensive end. One of those important key veteran players for a younger team. But Lily and Chelsea have done a great job all season, and obviously led by Coach Barnes. And we have another defensive team member. That goes to Maddie Albach. She has been a lockdown defender as a guard, and has done a really, really nice job, as a playmaker, but also especially a lockdown defender on the defensive side of the ball. So a very special congratulations to all those girls and head coach John Barnes, as well as the entire 21-22 Horizon League champions, the Youngstown State Penguins. They will be the number 2 seed in the Horizon League tournament, but they are well-deserved champions of the Horizon League. And it's March because the craziness is already starting to happen. For the first time ever, the top 6 basketball teams in the AP men's basketball poll lost on the same day this past weekend. Gonzaga goes down to St. Mary's. Arizona goes down to Colorado. Auburn goes down to Tennessee. Purdue loses to Michigan State. Kansas loses to Baylor. And Kentucky falls to Arkansas. So, it wasn't quite March yet, but the calendar knows, the basketball gods know when it starts creeping up to March that weird stuff can start to happen, and just it's entertaining for our part. Now let's get into girls high school basketball, and then we're going to talk about the boys high school side. Just a real quick, just want to give congratulations to the teams that have made it this far. If you make it to regionals, you have a very, very special team. So the Springfield girls are going to be playing Buckeye Central this coming Thursday at 6 p.m. Bristol will take on Dalton. Dalton, I believe, is in the Canton area. They will play them Thursday at 8 o'clock. The winner of those two games will play each other. That is our Division 4 girls teams left in our area. In Division 3, we have Apple Creek Waynedale, who I believe last year played South Range in the regionals, is going to be taking on the Liberty Leopards. That will be Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Garrettsville Garfield will also take on Warrensville Heights at 8 p.m. Now, I haven't checked, but I believe those games are at Cuyahoga Falls High School, but double check that calendar for regional site times and dates. So that is our Division 3, Liberty and Garrettsville Garfield. In Division 2, we have Norton taking on the West Branch Warriors tonight at 6 p.m. And then the winner of that game will take on the winner of Salem versus Canal Fulton Northwest. Northwest is a very good team, but congratulations to West Branch and Salem for making it this far. I know they don't want those early congratulations. I know they want to keep going and hopefully eventually play each other for a berth at a possible state championship Final Four appearance. So again, congratulations to Springfield, Bristol, Liberty, Garrettsville, Garfield, West Branch, and Salem. Our girls team still in the Division 4, 3, and 2. We have no Division 1 teams remaining, but 4, 3, and 2 representatives for our area. Boys. The boys are in districts right now. They're, generally a week behind where the girls are, as the state tournament's 1 week after. So in Division 4, we still got a lot of teams left. Warren JFK is going to take on the winner of Bristol versus Matthews. That game is tonight. Lowville will take on the winner of Badger versus St. Thomas Aquinas out of Louisville. That Badger-St. Thomas game is tonight. In Division 3, we have the number 1 seed Springfield Tigers taking on the winner of the Cardinal Mooney and Liberty game. That Mooney and Liberty game is tonight at 7. We have Cardinal taking on Campbell Memorial. Sorry, Campbell, I forgot to bold you there, but another local team. Campbell is a very high seed. I think they're the 2 seed in the Division 3 in their district. So that game will be tonight at 7 o'clock. In Division 2, we have Chardon taking on Poland. That's going to be on Wednesday night at 7. Chagrin Falls taking on the number 1 seed Cheney Cowboys. That will be Thursday at 7. And we have Ursuline taking on Howland, a couple local teams again, facing off Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So good luck to all those teams. In Division 1, we still have Stowe, Monroe Falls taking on Warren Harding. That game will be Thursday at 7 o'clock. And then we have the Boardman Spartans taking on the number 1 seed Lyndhurst Brush squad. That game will be Thursday at 7 o'clock at Euclid High School. Again, check any of the brackets on the OHSAA website for specific times and any changes in times or locations to those venues. But good luck to all those teams: Warren JFK, Bristol, Matthews, Lowville, Badger, Springfield, Mooney, Liberty, Poland, Cheney, Ursuline, Howland, Campbell, Warren, and Boardman, all representing our region very proudly. All right, on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we already got to college basketball, we got to high school, now let's get to the Cavs. On Saturday night, pull out an ugly win by outscoring Washington 26-16 in the fourth to win 92-86. Marketing comes back 23-6. Allen 18-14. Mobley 14-11. Osmond 19-4-5. He's really been a pivotal piece coming off the bench for the Cavs. But again, no Darius Garland, no Karis LeVert, no Rajon Rondo, and obviously no Colin Sexton. So you're out arguably your 4 top guards. At least guys that handle the ball most. So that's a really frustrating thing. Monday night, kind of same thing. But this game was really weird, last night's game. Cavs' 8-game home winning streak comes to an end, unfortunately. They started up 14-2 in the first quarter, so it was looking really good. But then they were outscored 75-51 between the second and third quarters combined. They were down as much as 23 points late in the third quarter, came back to tie it with 31 seconds left until Karl Anthony Towns, who you might just remember in the All-Star game in Cleveland, won the 3-point competition, hits a big-time three with about 12 seconds left on the clock. Mobley, another big game, 15, 10, and 4, playing great defense. Allen, 21 and 8. Kevin Love, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And Jenny Osman had 21 points, including a big-time 3 late in the fourth quarter. Goodwin is playing really nice basketball, filling in for those guys. But, let's face it, he is your 4th point guard. And, he's good, but he's susceptible to making mistakes, not a great defender, turns the ball over a little too much. Now, I don't want to criticize a guy that shouldn't be playing in crunch time, but he's a guy that is a nice guy to throw in for a couple minutes here and there. But he's not the answer at the point guard position. The Cavs really need Darius Garland to get back healthy. So speaking of Darius Garland, played in the All-Star game, did the skill competition, but has missed the first, and I made a mistake there, the first 3 games back after the All-Star break. He has a nagging lower back injury. And, like I said before, he is pretty much like, to use a lame reference, he's the straw that stirs the drink. He's the engine that makes the team go. But when he's not playing, it's very, very obvious in the team play. You can't beat guys off the dribble. You can't, you're having guys play out of position, and that really just affects the whole team chemistry and shows when the Cavs are struggling. But, just look at his numbers this year: 20 points a game, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, nearly, over 1 steal a game. And he has 25 games this year of 20 points or more. In the last 3 games he played, 27, 27, and 30. So he is a huge missing piece for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Karis LeVert, same thing. Acquired him from a trade. He has only, he's played 4 games, but he's missed 3 now. So, we need him in the lineup. He's a scorer. I wouldn't call him a great shooter, but he is a great scorer, averaging nearly 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. But has yet to kind of find his footing outside of 1 or 2 games that he's played in. So we need these guys on the court to be a really successful team. Their absence is obviously lacking, and it shows with some of the play, especially at times when the offense is dragging a little bit. In that second, third quarter, maybe they put out that run by the Timberwolves, and you're only outscored by 10, and then that comeback means a win last night. So I don't know. We just need these guys healthy, and that's one thing that you can never predict. So Karis LeVert, get back healthy. Rajon Rondo, get back healthy, and most importantly, Darius Garland, get back healthy. Let's talk about our Tower City combo, though, that are playing right now. Jared Allen, obviously a 2022 All-Star, 16 points, 11 rebounds, nearly 2 assists, 1.5 blocks, and shooting 67.2% from the floor. Evan Mobley, possible Rookie of the Year, averaging close to 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 blocks, and 1 steal, while shooting 50% from the floor. And I think he's well on pace to be the Rookie of the Year this year. So our Tower City duo doing a great job, especially on the defensive end, which leads to some easy buckets on the offensive end. And then, the bench bunch, let's let them know. You got Kevin Love, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Most likely the 6th man of the year. There'll be some other competitors, but with the way he's playing, 26 points last night. The Cavs aren't even in that game without Kevin Love. Isaac Okoro is one of those guys you're going to need in especially like a defensive, grinded out playoff series or a couple games in a series. He's only averaging 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, but he is a pretty solid defender, on the ball defender, and especially when he can just play his natural, he's either a big 2 or a small 3. He's kind of a combo there on the wing. But if he can develop into a 3-and-D guy, so basically lock down the other team's one of their best offensive players, and be able to hit an occasional 3 from the corner. If he can shoot 33%, that's what the Cavs are looking for. Obviously, they'll take more, but that's what they need. And then Jetty Osman, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and he's had a couple clunkers, but for the most part, this guy plays really solid, good basketball for the Cavs, and he'll make mistakes. He's not gonna light it up like crazy, but when he gets going, watch out, because he is a guy that could really take over one particular game here or there and be a solid player for you. So Jetty Osman, Isaac Okoro, Kevin Love, the bench bunch that we need for the Cavs. You need at least one, if not two, of these guys to step up each night and give you something. It doesn't have to be 26 points, but it could be 10 points and 8 rebounds, and whatever it might be. Between these guys, they're averaging about 34 points a game. And, if they can keep that average up, we will definitely take it, especially when healthy. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but the Cavs, big questions for the second half that I have. So, they've lost 4 or 5. They've lost 2 games to the Pistons, who are terrible. Did we expect too much too soon? I don't know. But, this is a very young team. There's going to be growing pains. Another question I have, the defense. Overall, it's great. However, there's just some lapses in important situations in games when, like Minnesota, they scored 75 points in the second and third quarter combined. That's not acceptable. So, there's times where the defense really has to just step up. But when guys, again, get healthy, I think everybody can play in their role, lock down on their position. Karis LeVert, is he going to be healthy? We don't know. And then Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Rajon Rondo's health, and obviously with Colin Sexton out, big losses for the Cavs. That's about 60 to 65 points of offense right there you're missing with those 4 guys. And then finally with the Cavs, let's check in on the Eastern Conference standings as of now. Miami Heat starting to put a little ground between them and the second place Bulls, who they beat last night. So the Heat are in first, Chicago Bulls in second, Sixers in third. Sixers playing well, now acquired James Harden. Him and Embiid seem to, be a nice fit. The defending champs Milwaukee takes over the 4th seed, the Cavs to the 5th seed. And the Cavs need to watch out because only a game back of them is the Celtics in the 6th seed. And then you want to avoid being a 7, 8, 9, or 10 seed, obviously. But that's where the play-in tournament would start. And, you don't want to get involved with that. The Raptors are right there on the Celtics' heels as well as the Cavs. So, the Cavs have some work to do. They started out pretty hot. They need to finish strong to get some good play down the stretch to hopefully secure a top 6 seed. Obviously, the goal would be to get a top 4 seed to get a home first round playoff series, but that remains to be seen. But you got to just take it one day at a time, as we have about a quarter of the season left to go. All right, switching real quick, I want to preview our show for our next 2 shows, actually, on Thursday and on Thursday, March 3rd, and next Tuesday, March 8th. We're going to feature a ton of great guests. March is Women's History Month, Women's Appreciation Month, whatever you want to call it. We have so many great female entrepreneurs in our area. I grew up with a very, very strong mom figure, and she kind of gave me the inspiration to do this. So I reached out and got some of our best and brightest entrepreneurs in the Valley, and they're going to join us for our next 2 shows as sort of like a little summit. We're going to just ask some questions and have some fun with it, but they will join us on Thursday. The guests we're going to bring in are Aspasia from Penguin City. We're going to bring in Melissa from Sweet Melissa's. We're going to bring in Annabelle from Heroes and Tiaras. We're going to bring in Hannah from Dope the Brand. We're going to bring in Marissa from Livabella, Ellie Platt from Platt Insurance, Lisa Resnick, who is, I don't know what job title she doesn't have. She's a realtor. She's a podcast host. She does so much around our community for so many. We're going to bring in DeLauren from Ivory and Birch, and we're going to bring in Alexa from Sweeney Buick GMC, and all great guests. We're looking forward to talking to them all, and again, we're going to have some fun with it. So look for that show on Tuesday, or I'm sorry, this coming Thursday, and then the following Tuesday. So as of now, we're still trying to schedule Alexa for one of these shows, but right now, Thursday's show, well, this might be kind of a variety show here, because we have a lot of different businesses represented. We're going to have DeLorean, we're going to have Annabelle, we're going to have Melissa, and I believe Marissa is going to join us on that show. And then on Tuesday, March 8th, we're going to have Aspasia, we're going to have Hannah, Ellie, and Lisa. So that'll be more of our drinking show, I guess, because a lot of breweries and ciders, and Lisa representing Homes and Hops. We'll have a lot of fun in that one. Maybe have a few beverages in that show. Want to also, this is going to be extremely quick, but we'll go over the Cleveland Browns off season to do checklists. So these are just my 10 things I think the Browns need to figure out this offseason. The combine is happening right now in Indianapolis. A lot of times this is where the wheels start going in motion. When you get ideas, you get conversations happening, you get trade possibilities, you get draft prospects, you get free agency talk. So the Browns need to figure out their quarterback room. Is it Baker? Is it going to be somebody else? Or do you bring somebody else in with Baker? Extend Denzel Ward, get that done. The wide receiver core, what are you going to do with Jarvis? Are you going to draft a wide receiver? Are you going to bring in a free agent? Are you going to make a trade? That room needs a makeover. We need to help out Myles Garrett on the defensive line. So do you re-sign Clowney? Do you bring in another veteran? Do you draft those guys? It's, that's a fluid situation. Re-sign David Njoku. That's a big checklist that's a big item on my checklist. The health and depth of the O-line. It was exposed last year when you had your two tackles out, and guys playing out of position, or younger guys that weren't quite ready having to play big roles. So the health and depth of your offensive line needs addressed. Improve the linebacker position. JOK has been a stud so far as a rookie, but you got to help him out. You need at least two linebackers that you can count on game to game. Free agency targets. I don't know what the Browns are thinking in Berea, but we will have more on a future show coming up as free agency starts in basically 2 weeks. Draft targets, again, this is combine week, so the Browns are going to be looking at a lot of those guys: wide receiver, defensive end, defensive tackle, tight end, offensive line. Pretty much, most things are going to be on the board for the Browns. But do you trade your picks, to maybe acquire more talent? Do you to get maybe a more for sure thing, or are you taking more upside? So a lot of conversations are going to be had going on with the Browns. On the offensive scheme, that might need a little bit of tweaking, as we saw some flaws with that last year. And real quick, as a Browns fan or a Steelers fan in the Youngstown area, both of these teams really have to figure out what they're going to be doing at their quarterback position. Browns have Baker, but are they happy with him? Is he the future? They need to figure that out. The Steelers have Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskin, obviously, with Big Ben retiring. So the future of those positions are up in the air for both of those teams. And if you look through the AFC, there's a lot of question marks. The Dolphins, are they happy with Tua? The Raiders, what are they going to do with Derek Carr? The Broncos need a quarterback. The Steelers obviously need a quarterback. Are the Browns happy again with Baker Mayfield? The Titans, are they happy with Ryan Tannehill? The Colts, I think, are going to move on from Carson Wentz. Deshaun Watson has been a lingering question for the past 12 or 13 months. So those are just the AFC quarterbacks. In the NFC, the Commanders need a quarterback. The Cardinals, Kyler Murray, there's been a bunch of rumors with him going on lately. He wants a new contract. Maybe he's not happy with Arizona. The 49ers seem to be moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. He could be on the move. Russell Wilson. The biggest domino seems to be Aaron Rodgers. Kirk Cousins, what's going to happen with him and the Vikings? New coach, new GM there. Jared Goff with the Lions. Is that going to be a fluid situation? Tom Brady retired, but, Is he fully retired? We don't know. Could he end up with the Buccaneers back? Probably not, but could he end up with the 49ers or another team? That's a possibility. We don't know. The Saints are going to be looking for a quarterback. The Falcons they sold on Matt Ryan, and the Panthers. They cannot be happy with Sam Darnold. So those are just the quarterback questions in the AFC and the NFC. So a lot of question marks. So literally half the league is trying to figure out their quarterback situation right now. This was in the news and it was locally, so I wanted to just address this very briefly but very quickly. A Washington and Jefferson student was expelled after displaying a sign targeting a Westminster basketball player. I'm not putting his face on there, but this was a note from the female basketball player at Westminster, who is being harassed by these Washington and Jefferson. I believe it was a lot of their football players, but there's booing, there's cheering, and then there's crossing the line. And these fans decided to put the date of this player's father's death and passing away, and there's just a line that cannot be crossed with certain things like that, and that's definitely one that crossed the line. So I just want to address that, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but felt like I needed to just say it's inappropriate, it's terrible, and I'm sorry for what that player had to deal with. But what I did like is how she praised her father, saying, because she's not going to react in a terrible way because of the girl her great father raised her to be. And I thought that was worth noting. So again, if you're, again, I think anyone that watches the show isn't someone that would do this, but, if you're thinking about it, something like this, just don't do it. There's no room in sports for this kind of stuff. So, and I don't feel bad for the player that was expelled. However, I think probably more action should be taken, and he was not the only person involved with this. So that's all I'll say, and we'll move on from that. All right, with Seinfeld, I'm not making light of what's going on in with Russia and Ukraine, but it had to make you think of the old Seinfeld episode where Kramer and Newman are playing the game of Risk, and on the train they get in trouble because they say the Ukraine's a sitting duck, it's weak, and I just felt like I had to reference that this week. So that's when Jerry quotes and said, "Oh, it's Risk. It's a game of world domination being played by two guys who can barely run their own lives." So just thought that was worth sharing, and definitely a funny moment in a not so funny situation. And let's share a little good news here. We just talked about the Ukraine a little bit. We talked about some negative things going on in sports, but here's the more you yo. A great story, something I didn't know until this weekend when I read it, but the man who played E.T. was from Youngstown. He was also Ukrainian. His name was Pat Billion, Billion. He was only 2'10" tall and weighed 40 pounds. Although he was small in stature, Pat was a bouncer at Wedgwood Lanes in Austintown in the Orange Room, hosted a weekly Ukrainian music show on WKTL in Struthers, was a local dispatcher for the Sheriff's Department, a member of the local Ukrainian National Branch 119, and active at St. Anne's Ukrainian Church in Austintown. He was also an Ursuline grad and a Youngstown State University grad, and appeared in Under the Rainbow. I believe that starred Chevy Chase, and then from that role, got a role in E.T., and obviously you're not going to get a much bigger movie than that before his passing. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 35, but this is just a positive note to say, never let something hold you back, whether it's size, whether it's strength, whether it's ability, whatever it might be, but just want to say thank you to Pat, and Youngstown proud, and obviously with everything that's going on in the Ukraine, representing his Ukrainian national country very proudly. And then finally, just our thoughts are with the Ukraine right now. Everyone over there that's dealing with this. And unfortunately, war is part of life. We don't want it to be, but I'll just close the show with this. In a world where you can be anything, just be kind. So thanks again for listening. We will see you guys on Thursday's show. Good luck to all of our local teams, including Youngstown State men's and women's basketball this week in the